on behind the alley behind our house. He was kind of an invalid, and he happened, I don't know how he talked to my wife, she must have been walking, and he said, I just enjoy those Christmas lights in the back. Next year I gotta decorate where I can't even see them. So,
Nice,
but at least we're cutting back each year.
yeah.
Okay, we are ready. Where did we leave off last week?
Oh, good
We returned the
question.
page, if I remember right.
Let's see. So we were kind of started skipping around because we got towards the end. I will go back up to the annex a minute, just because John brought something to my attention yesterday about the, not the annex, the RTA.
Okay,
The recorder in the treasurer's office.
Yes. They, here recently, they blew a breaker. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but when we investigated it, the recorder's office, about everything outside of Mike Dell's office is run from an extension cord inside Mike Dell's office.
Is it a heavy duty cord?
Yeah. Yeah. So when it blew the breaker, it also blew a circuit in the treasurer's office. Just happened to be connected to that same breaker. Not a big deal, reset the breaker, go on with life, but that's a mess. So I had Klaus come in and analyze it and figure out what we need and where we can pull the power from. The recorder's office has a breaker box that is packed. And so we went down to the basement. We have
what's the service going in there? What amp?
oh, I really don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. It's, I want to say 400, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we've got room in the basement, go up through the ceilings, put some new drops in each office, so they're not doing extension cord with plug-ins and then plug-ins on top of plug-ins and stuff like, and that's what happened. And,
So it's been like this since you've been here,
been
right?
here forever, yeah. Yeah,
20
never had a problem. Nobody ever really said, hey, you ought to look at that. It just never did. So now we did. We have a rough estimate of $8,300 to do the work. Ed assured me that he's, will watch as he goes along. He assumed for the worst, not that we'll always have the worst situation, but we need to run new outlets from different poles for both offices, so they can get away from the extension cord stacking, plug outlets and so forth. So plug strips on top of plug strips.
Well, let's blame Damon, because he's leaving.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah. So, that new boss of his, is something like that. Ooh, you're close. You moved.
He doesn't know he's gotta use the bathroom in the hallway.
You moved. Yeah, there you go. So that's what we're looking at. I feel it a must to do this. Hate to lay that on
Okay.
the budget at this late date, but I feel that's a must.
So you're recommending that still yet this year?
Yes.
Do we usually get a couple estimates on something like that? I mean, we're starting to get into that.
We
Five
haven't,
digit.
we haven't, because I didn't know it's gonna get into that. Klaus has just been our go-to electrician. I can go on and get other estimates. But yeah, I have not, so.
I just figured since it was electrical and we didn't want to push it off waiting if it was going to be kind of a, I don't know if that's an emergency situation. I find out that my breakers keep popping and there's a reason I worry about a fire, so.
Yeah. No, I disagree.
But if you want us, we absolutely can.
I mean, keep all the contractors honest on that.
Is he making faces back there?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's always good to have a couple estimates, but in this case, I think that it just makes sense to go ahead and have them do the work. I mean, how much difference can there be? Even if it's 10%, it's $800. So,
Yeah.
I mean, my sense would be to go forward with it, but I,
But going forward, I will,
8,300?
Okay, sorry, I missed that because I was getting water.
going forward, I will take the time to get a couple estimates in and stuff.
now you say that was just kind of a rough estimate. I mean, do you need?
Yeah.
you need-
That's a pretty close estimate, but it's figured all the high stuff. It's
Right.
like I told him, if you need to, cut into the drywall for wiring and stuff, do it in the hallway. That way you don't have to patch it in the office, you can patch it in the
I
hallway.
mean, you need 9,000 for unforeseen?
I don't think so, I think it's gonna be less than that,
Okay.
so we're good with that?
Well, we're in work session, so we can't really take action.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
And we finally did get the estimate, we actually got 2 estimates for the requested wall at the annex building. First estimate was relatively high, it came in at 16,000. John had another contractor come in and have an estimate done, and it's about 6,000. And that'll get the walls in and doors in, and
First one was gold.
I think so. We just don't, I don't know. So,
Okay.
and John, you said that it was comparable, 10-inch studs, whatever.
Right, it's all, yeah, all the metal 6-inch studs, the metal door. We did not match the door to any cherry doors because it's strictly an inside work door.
Is this taking care of?
And the
James?
5/8
Yes, it-
fire rated drywall, which is what we use in the building, so.
So that would be the evidence room and the
Other-
jeans
All
area.
right.
Now, that's not doing any electrical because I was told in the evidence room, the can lights that are in there is enough.
In here at 15.
And then in the records room, there's plenty of lighting. There's plenty of 2x4 lighting in there.
Okay.
So there's no electrical involved. And there's only one doorway. The evidence room already has the original entrance door to the title office for their doorway. And then the inside door will be to get to the records.
Okay, and that's something we have to do in regular session too?
Yep.
All right,
But because it's a project, I wanted to bring it up.
got it.
The wall would be in the budget for next year.
No, I'm adding that right now, because I didn't have a quote, I didn't have anything. I think the request came in to have it done as soon as possible. It wasn't when you get to it, it was, I'd like it done as soon as
I mean,
possible.
because it was listed in here, in this capital budget, under the annex.
Or it didn't have the amount then?
Yeah, it was at 15,000, unless I.
Oh, that
was-
was the original one.
Right,
Yeah.
right, but I mean, are we leaving it in the budget, or are we looking for paying for it out of excess funds from this year?
That's up to you.
Oh, okay, I didn't know what I missed the thought on that, or.
Yeah, because
I
I
don't
just,
know.
Jean
When
said
would
she
they-
would have some money next year to pay. Right.
I thought, that's what she had said.
she didn't talk to me about it. I just know she has a concern with the cleaners that are in that building and access to that room now.
We got a letter of support from the judges.
We did.
Well, I mean, we could always do it now. If there is some money available next year, we can get reimbursed.
Yeah, I'd just like to make the
Right.
decision
I mean,
now.
What did I'm sorry, did you say when they could get to it?
I think he's open to do it this year.
Okay.
I can reconfirm that with a phone call, but
Okay.
Not
there
gonna
any
keep
public
adding more
comment?
stuff to this.
Is there any public comment at this point?
Sure.
The only reason we want the wall is that those files have social security numbers and some other stuff. That's why we need a secure area for the clerk of courts. And that's why we were supportive of it. And
Are
obviously,
you
we got.
supporting it financially?
I'm sorry?
Are you supporting it financially?
I'm sorry, what?
Hard to hear in the back of this room.
Sure, as we always do.
Time for public comments over.
I like 6 a lot better than 15, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Let's pay the first 9.
Whatever.
Okay. Now how far down did we get? Did we get down to, I think we touched on museum.
We touched on museum,
um,
and I don't know that we did.
Yeah, the public safety, I think we touched on it too, because that's still part of a, you know, depending on what our
Master
master
plan
plan
stuff, yeah.
decides, you know, whether we're gonna stay there, whether we're gonna leave.
Yeah.
I think we kind of skipped over the jail because we had a long list, so we can
Yeah.
touch on the jail or,
Well, just on the, you know, one of the discussions that we had, it was about the RTA and the MOU and all that kind of thing. And I had a meeting with Dale and, the mayor, I think.
oh, they called you back?
Yeah, next, Monday or Tuesday or something like that, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just to kind of update each other on where that MOU stands, and I'll report back to the board here.
Yeah, I tried to call in to set up a meeting and I didn't get a call back.
Well, Nikki made one phone call and got her
Well,
now.
apparently they don't like me.
I don't know. I don't think that's true.
It was right before Thanksgiving, so.
Okay,
So do you wanna
we're going.
go to jail or?
Go to
Sure,
jail.
let's
Before we leave this conversation, I'd like to do a little deep dive on the museum. I mean, we
Okay.
kind of glossed over that, and I think that's going to press us in 2019 because of the capital budget funds and
Yeah.
some of the things that are out there. So, I guess, you know, from our priority standpoint, are we still at rewiring the building? Is that our spend priority there?
We talked about that as well as the addition of the AC and dehumidifier systems as being the top 2 is where we left things.
Right. The capital, which I talked to David Zach a little bit, because he's kind of leading up that application, talked to him a little bit yesterday, and the way it was submitted for carriage house repairs. So, not sure if we could alter that or not. But as submitted, it was carriage house and repairs. David thought maybe we could get quotes for the other and include it, because it was a $100,000 project with our money being used as a match for Civil War Museum as well.
Yeah. Well, let's have you further look at that and see whether or not it can be. I guess no sense discussing unless we know for sure.
Well, David's leaving it up to us now. He wants the entities, being the museum director and the Civil War Museum, to get new cost estimates. So,
Okay?
There's electric in the carriage house.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's working. It's,
Well, okay, but assuming there
deplorable,
was
yeah.
and or should be,
I think there's lights.
right.
and if there's separate from the house, or is it all
It-
tied in together?
It's all, it's comes from the house, so.
Well, there we go. Electrical upgrades so
Yeah,
is needed
right.
to, yeah.
Yeah, the
But-
carriage house started in the second floor to redo the second floor, make a meeting room available. On down, the windows, the trim work, the doors, the main carriage doors in front. New floor, new concrete floor. There is a concrete floor there. It's cracked and separated pretty heavily, so it would really needs to be come out, new floor put back in. The doors need to be rebuilt, the windows need to be rebuilt. A lot of restoration type work.
So we
So-
need to meet with the museums and reprioritize what that money should be spent for? Is that where David's at?
Okay,
Is that what you're getting at?
What David had told
I
me is
have
that
no
they needed
conversation.
to
Yeah.
go get estimates, is what he told me.
Okay.
So,
well, I
if
think,
you wanna
that-
get the committee back together to,
Yeah, I think we better.
but I think our priority, what we've always said, our priority is the building.
Yeah,
I'd much rather do the electrical and stuff for the main building.
Part that we have open,
Yeah, not that the other isn't
Those would be the
important.
two main priorities, be the electrical and the HVAC, and as far as dehumidification or air conditioning to act as a dehumidifier. Those are, you know, and I look at those as being separate units, like mini splits. That way you don't have to tear the walls up, you don't have to put ductwork in. You put these units on the wall, and they're very quiet, they're very, very good, and they could be individually for the floors. So, but need somebody to look at that and make sure that we can cover everything. But the electrical, I feel definitely that needs to be a starting point.
How many panels do we have in that building? Like 12
Yeah,
How many who?
panels?
Oh,
yeah,
and there's still some knob and tube in there.
there is, yes. The only thing that probably doesn't need to be redone is the back meeting room, only because it's newer.
Yeah, and, you know, all due respect, I think we need to have somebody who's an expert in creating
I do too.
collections, look at the humidity levels and whatnot in there. I don't think anybody in Seneca County is probably qualified to make a decision as to what the relative humidity should be in a museum. That's a very special.
I just, you know, as you walk in, you can pretty much
I'm not saying it
smell.
doesn't need to be done. I'm
You
just
can
saying
smell the
we
levels,
probably
right.
don't have the expertise.
Right,
prescribe
I
that.
agree, I agree.
So, you know, as
Okay, so we need to get the groups together, get some estimates made for the electrical and or the HVAC. Hopefully decide that that's a priority and come back to this group with their estimates, right?
Either that or go with an architect.
Go with the architect.
Go with an architect, let him do it all. Obviously, there's an extra expense there, but, you know,
Well, that would speak to Shane's concerns about having the expertise looking at the HVAC.
it's a difficult building to,
David said they weren't ready for that stage yet, but I just don't know how we can get to that stage, get estimates that are accurate without having somebody that
An
has the,
architect, somebody
an
do it.
architect or
Yeah.
engineer. to
Yeah.
look
Is
at
that something the museum has any, I mean, I don't know what that cost would be, but any funding for in their
I don't know.
budget or?
I mean, it's something we could go to the foundation and ask, I suppose.
state historical, whatever.
Yeah. Yes?
As just a comment, I would always want to urge you to remember that we could always look at the bricks and mortar grants from Ohio History Connection for next year to move forward with this, but you're gonna have to have that engineer specification for that. So if that helps you in understanding where you need to move forward, I just wanna
That would
plant
be,
that
that would be a
seed.
tool for that application that would
Yeah.
benefit.
Yep.
Well, we got so many players involved here. Let's do this. Let's set up a meeting with the Civil War, the county museum, get a representative from Barnes Diner there so they know what's going on, John, and one of us, and tell them where we think the priorities ought to be and see if we can get their buy-in to get an architect and move forward. Decide where the funding's gonna come from at that point.
So is, the Civil War Museum, is that separate monies from this
It
dollar
was all
amount?
one, it was all one grant, but
And the
yeah, it
total
is separate
was-
money, yes.
Total was 100,000, they get 25, we get 25, I think. I didn't bring that in with me.
Okay, and then the match is from both, having to do that.
Theoretically.
Well, the county was, according to that, was the only one putting any money. They were using our money as match money, the Civil War Museum.
They were using that 25 from the state as their match money.
As, they're not
Yes.
putting any match money into their project. It's all coming from the county.
Yeah, we need to have a meeting because I'm confused on that, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't know how we put money to the Civil War Museum. I mean, through the stuff that came through that gets channeled that way, that's understandable, but in terms of the match. so-
Well, they probably, they need to be told that they need to have a fundraiser or whatever for the match,
Yeah,
because we're not gonna fund it, because we don't need to do with it.
well, like I said, yeah, it just gets us into the world of hurt to start to go,
But we ought to tell them, probably meet with them and tell them all that, so that there isn't any confusion here.
Right.
I think their project was staying under that 25,000,
Okay.
so they just needed to have a match money, so we're using our project.
I get it. Okay, yeah, let's have me.
So that just comes back to the question of, you know, our first priority is to take care of the main building first and get that to where we want it to be. I mean, that's still what we're saying, I suppose, before we move on to the carriage house?
Yeah, I think so. Their strategic plan, they being the museum, was their first priority was redoing the carriage house, right? We are in conflict with that when we talk about what needs to be done there. First thing that needs to be done, I absolutely agree, is that we need to get the main house in shape. But I think that we probably need to assemble that group and tell them where we're coming from. And then, you know, prioritize according to how they want to. I mean, there's consequences to their decision. If they decide they don't wanna match or they don't wanna go through the renovation with the electrical and all, you know, then we won't fund it, I guess. But if they do, then we need to find a path to get it done.
Yeah, I think we just put it on a 5 or 6 year program, we know where we're going. But I think the first step is to get some engineering help.
I think mechanically we need to work on the building.
Yeah.
It's been neglected, so.
Okay, so with your permission, I will assemble all the players.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of write up exactly what it is we can and can't do, and see if we can get a buy-in. I mean, it would be great if we could get an architect or an engineer or somebody on that project as soon as possible to give us some ideas to costs and what really needs to be done.
I think that's a better way to go than,
Okay.
you know, I mean, you could throw 3 electrical contractors in there and you
I don't
could,
disagree at all. No,
you
I'm sure.
could come up with, you know, 3
Yeah,
way
different plans,
different ideas.
Yeah,
I think we need to have some guidance and everybody go from that guidance to get a more solid quote and so forth.
all right.
Okay.
Public safety?
Yeah, that's next.
I think we touched on that.
We did, I had a check mark next to it, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
because it's the whole, you know, we had initially included them in the master plan, potentially creating a complex out there that they would be included. So if that's still somewhat in our plans, then, you know, some of the stuff obviously could still be done, you know, changing the locks, you know, but whether we'd want to put new windows in it, new facade, fix the cracks in the concrete, the roof. So, but we did want to list it to know some of the things, some of the concerns with that
The
building.
history of that building, has the county always owned that building?
It was a Civil
Civil,
War,
civil
civil
defense.
defense building,
Yeah,
and then the county got it after that. So the county hadn't always.
I
hasn't.
didn't think so.
I think the fair board owned it, don't they?
Probably got some federal funding at some point to put it in, is that what you think happened?
That long time ago.
So if,
Probably a placard on it somewhere it tells us.
Right.
I know this is a longer term look, but if we would decide to try to do something on South, would we want to at least have some conversation with the fair board as to whether they have any use or desire for that building?
I think that would be a first, obviously, option. We'd want to talk to them about it.
Would.
I mean, you couldn't sell it privately. I can't imagine anybody being allowed to get in the fairgrounds.
Right, and right now, we have an easement in
Yeah,
to our buildings.
okay.
Yeah, I think the security locks and cameras make some sense out there, given the investment that we have.
Yeah.
And even in the near term, even if, we moved as fast as we could possibly move on creating another space for them, we're probably 3 to 5 years out.
Yeah.
So, in the meantime, securing the building with locks and cameras makes a lot of, not that it's not secure now, of course it's secure, but to enhance that security.
Yeah.
A big help there would be, I mean, it's a block build, it's a single block building, and, I mean, you can see through the walls in a lot of areas, so, to go through and re-grout it and so forth, I think siding would be more of an answer,
Hmm.
you know. First of all, for insulate, you know, you could fur it out, you could insulate it, you could
Right.
side it, do it all from the outside. Okay, still not gonna be that pretty inside, but at least you're gonna get it, a workable building.
Tighten it up, too.
Yeah, so, but those are things you could do, depending on how long we're out looking at another building, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess two parts of that conversation is, would the fair board be interested in taking it over at some time if we were out of it? That would make us feel a little bit better about the investment.
Right.
Two is, you know, a little bit of a cost benefit analysis. If it is a heat drain, then there might be a return to that investment
Mhm.
when, you know, insulating it and tightening it up. So, and that might be a self-repaying process.
Yeah, and, you know, with the discussion about the possibility of some type of storage facility for records, et cetera, and this, it ties into the overall plan about the south side, so.
Okay.
It all has,
You want me to have some preliminary discussions with the exec committee of the fair board, just to say, think about this, we're debating, we obviously might have some improvements we've got to do to it in the meantime, if
Yeah.
we're going to eventually move out of there. What is your interest? Because if it's, doesn't fit in, and they may not know at the moment,
Yeah.
at a master plan for what they've got going, they may say, wow, we wanna clear that area. We don't, you know, I just hypothetically
Don't put
saying,
any.
yeah, don't
huge
do that, or
investments into it.
I can't imagine they wouldn't
yeah.
grab a hold of the buildings and because, you know, you can see the buildings, they've got some, you know, ones they've done a lot of improvements to, they've got some older ones, et cetera, but I don't know where that becomes. I will not be at their December meeting because of conference, but I will try to get with Bevan and Brian. They usually have their exec meeting on the off week, so that should be next week. So I'll see if I can get on their agenda.
Yeah, it'd be good to know whether they felt relative, or comfortable at all, or absolute no, absolute yes, or
Sure.
somewhere in between.
Sure. And that is then that's the whole thing. That's the garage aspect as well as the whole, right?
Yeah.
And do we know the history of that? If we built that garage when we took over the defense building? We don't know, do we?
I don't know.
I don't know if we have records on that. Okay.
That is an add-on. It's added on to the building.
Right.
I
Yeah, it
just
wasn't part of the original by any means.
don't
but
know, yeah. I don't know.
Conversation with Dale.
Do we
He
have,
probably remembers.
Yeah.
do we have any
Yeah.
plans for that building?
You
Never.
pay the utilities out of there, John?
Those are on maintenance.
Yeah.
Hmm?
The
Oh.
utilities are on the maintenance
Mhm,
budget.
yes.
Okay,
Wanna go to?
let's get to the jail.
Jail. He put a list together.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah, we have two lists,
Be
right?
be careful what you ask for, is that?
Yeah. And as he says in his letter, that, you know, it's not in any prioritized, and he did not get any quotes, because getting quotes now for something that might happen in 5 years.
Yeah.
So, I gotta add those to the spreadsheet, but figured we'd just use his letter.
Do you know if he had a priority order to this?
His,
Or does it say
his
that?
letter said he didn't.
Didn't, okay.
The only thing I have, the jail's pretty self-sustaining with David out there. I take care of the roofs, getting the roofs patched. Well, we call section 7 yet to do. And we have an estimate of roughly $3,200 for repairs.
Now, you might wanna check with Sheriff, because he said he had the patch done. In his letter, it says H block roof, which is the expansion roof. It says was patched for now,
Right.
over 10 years old.
So he did order that.
He,
Okay, I need to check with him.
yeah,
I
we
do
need to
not-
check with him, because,
I do not know that.
yeah,
All
no,
right,
we just need to, just check to make sure.
okay. The other stuff, again, I'm not aware of. They do their own out there with their maintenance man.
And I don't know what the probability is of fundings for jail expansions and things like that. Does he have a resource of some grants and things that he has utilized in the past? I mean, I know,
The last expansion we did, basically we saved up enough money from the revenue we received from the building to put up the expansion, which basically means the general fund paid for it.
it's the revenue, like ICE money.
Ice money, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, obviously the ice money doesn't cover his budget
I
totally.
was gonna
but-
say, yeah, he's not a self-sustaining operation anyway, we realize that, but.
Right. But if you need him to, I don't know if he can put some numbers together to show, the revenue that he would be anticipating or what you wanna see. He didn't put a time frame in there, whether this is a 5-year or 10-year,
Sure.
so.
Well, I really think it's worth a discussion with one of our work sessions. There's enough
Yeah, he
priority
said-
items here to sit down and go over this, because, some of these things are, very much doable, paint and wallpaper and that kind of stuff. If there really needs to be some attention paid to that, we can certainly slip that in. It's not that big a cost, but on the same token, how real is the need for another 120 beds? That's a whole other discussion.
Right,
So,
right.
I-
Yeah, because, I'm sure that's, and I know we talked about that when we had him down testifying with us for the Medicaid expansion, the Medicare managed sales tax reduction to the counties because of the impact on the crisis and the need.
I don't know if I have no idea, or I should, about, the staff level, whether he feels there's enough sheriffs and deputies, whether enough, employees in the jail, whether we have enough vehicles on the road. I don't think we've really had much of a discussion about all that. We probably ought to.
His staff level is all in the contract, in the union
Yeah,
contract.
I know, but yeah,
So,
but what, in an ideal situation, how many guys would he have out there, how many ladies would he have out there, is he at a staffing level that he feels comfortable with, or, should we talk about more or less? I don't know the answer.
I just want to go on record that I'm for jail cell locks.
I saw that, it's number 8 on here, but.
Right, number 8.
The door locks, I don't know if it's for the
I
cells
think it's
or
good.
if it's the building, but.
and they're-
Judge, can you?
Well, we gotta do
comment on
that, you said it too.
Yeah. I think that's a
Not
good-
on the locks, but we are all aware that at the state level, they're pushing incarceration back locally.
Yeah.
So I don't know about the 120 beds or anything like that, but if I had a crystal ball, I would say the incarceration that's going to take place is going to continue to become a burden at the local level.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable making that statement, so, for whatever that
Yeah.
public comment is worth.
Yeah, I would be in favor of doing some kind of rolling 3-year plan where we update the paint, the locks, freshen it up to make it, just to do our regular maintenance on that, those kinds of things. I've heard that comment from people who work out there that it's starting to look tired, and you stop taking care of things, it starts to look tired, and some paint and some carpet and fresh locks can go a long ways to restoring pride in the working place. So I would be interested in seeing some kind of a 3-year plan where we go through the whole building and do most of those routine maintenance things, because the building's 20 years old and it's,
yeah.
See, like, for example, under number 10, he has unmarked vehicles, warrant transports / detectives. Am I assuming that he needs the vehicles for that group, or does that mean that he would like to add
That's who
detectives?
uses
I think he
them,
needs
just
it,
don't-
yeah, I think
don't-
he needs it replaced.
Okay,
But, I can verify it.
I think that's
Maybe
probably
we
right.
can
That
have
makes sense.
a state of the sheriff or state of the jail discussion with the sheriff. And
I
I
think
think
that's
there
good.
are a number of things, just general operations update to us, as well as that helps
I think
us
that's-
understand
yeah.
his needs here.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Because it's, John, like John said, he doesn't do the maintenance out there. Sheriff has his own maintenance guy out there, but then he does call when he needs something, or,
So we can do this in work session, right? There's no
Yeah.
decisions that we're gonna make, so
Right.
let's get it scheduled, and everybody's gonna be here for a work session in the near future. Okay.
and then going on the whole locks conversation, our youth center.
Currently, we have 4 locks that are just giving us a heartache, and we have a $7,000 estimate to replace those 4 locks. We're told by the lock company, McElhaney, that they do prison work, that those locks, when they were installed, were old. They were at the end of their life at that time. So now, they're really at the end of their life, and they're just a lot of failures in them. I really would like to do the $7,000 upgrade to those 4 locks. I think York's wants me to too.
Yeah.
It's been kind of hanging out there for quite a while. You know, we fix them, and they just keep breaking, and,
That can't help employee morale out there either.
No.
When you're dealing with
right,
faulty equipment.
right. So,
Okay.
but I feel the building needs an upgrade as well. I think we need to look at maybe McElhaney giving us an estimate on sections of the building, you know, A pod, B pod, C pod, and doing those at different times. The
Say that again.
the 7,000,
7,000 was just 4?
please,
The 7,000 was just 4?
just 4 locks.
How many doors are we looking at?
Oh, I think 30. Not all of them have the same heavy-duty prison wear that are attached to alarms and so forth. These are wired. These hinges are wired on the door. The combinations on the door, they're wired. They all go back to their central command center. I mean, they're not just a hinge you throw on. They actually have wires going through. So, it's the real prison wear.
Does the youth center also have a maintenance person, or is that
No.
you?
That's us.
Okay.
I mean, they maintain themselves
Sure.
janitorially, and they do minor maintenance, but everything out there is prison screws and stuff, so we have to have special adapters to even change a light bulb. So, which we have. I mean,
So you're recommending that the locks be changed, new to new, as soon as possible?
I think we should look at replacing the building in sections, maybe do it in
The
sections or do it all at once. Huh?
The doors.
The doors.
You said the building.
You said the building.
The doors, no, building's fine,
Building's fine.
Yeah,
building's fine, yeah. So,
Okay.
but looking me in the face is a $7,000 repair, which, I'm not sure that'd be capital, I think that's probably just gonna come out of the contract services.
Well, it's over 5,000
Yeah.
is our capital improvements, so
Okay,
it'd probably be our capital improvement line.
however you wanna look at that.
okay, let's go on to the egg building.
I will provide the dynamite.
I'll light the match.
Let me know when you're doing it.
Yes.
Okay, just let me give you some real quick through this. There's 7 heating, cooling systems in there, from rooftops to basements to outside, from 3 years old to 20-some years old. Parking lot is in bad shape. It's not ADA approved. It's got too many slopes. We've looked at this a couple years ago to redo the ramp and so forth, and actually have a, handicap parking that's approved. The LED lighting is just, again, the lighting's as old as the building for the most part. The bathrooms are almost ADA, but they need work to become ADA. Flooring is just a wear item, actually. The barns in the back, they need paint, those, again, wear items, Grade and Roll Cemetery Lane. Again, the roofs,
Go ahead.
we've replaced a couple of the flat roofs in the last couple years. There's the roofs, as you look at them out there, the sections of the building, there's 3 sections, those are slate. I mean, they're old slate and not leaking.
How many square feet do we have in that building?
Do you have that? I don't have it.
I don't have it with me,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
I don't
no.
have it with me.
And what offices in that building are we required to supply? As
We have,
as the county?
Ohio State's in there,
They're all tenants.
they're all tenants.
They're all tenants.
Soil and Water, are they a tenant?
Okay,
Yep.
Okay,
so how much,
Soil, Water, and NRCS are together, OSU Extension, and again, those are,
OSS Solid Waste,
and Solid Waste has a small office in there.
small
So they're
office,
And
right.
FSA.
so how much are we
Service, yeah.
generating in income?
Oh,
Yeah. Soil and Water pays 25,000 a year. What's FSA's new monthly?
Their monthly is like 4,000 and some change.
4,000 a what?
A month.
A month?
Yeah.
So that's 48,000 a year.
Yeah.
So we have 73,000.
OSU doesn't pay. It's what we
Part of our-
consider match,
part of our
I
match,
guess.
yep.
Well, in theory though, how much is our match?
I don't know if it's 15.
I mean, we gotta put some number in there.
Yeah, well, I didn't look it up, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, let's call it 15, so we're at 88.
And
Is NRCS matched too? Or is it just tied in with soil?
I think it's just tied in with Soil and Water. And theirs was the 25.
Which is the
and,
reason that their square footage is, they have a lot of people and it's a lot of space up there.
And OSS doesn't.
All right,
Solid
So-
Waste doesn't pay anything.
$7,000 a month. So the question is, how big a bill, let's say that we hired somebody to put a building up on our property and lease it. How big a building could we get up and pay $7,000 a month to lease it long-term? And it would be a new building, and I have no idea what the utilities are, but they gotta be killing us.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have that with me.
I mean, with how many furnaces? and
We have
everything?
seven separate units in
Petition
there.
is not.
Right, I mean.
And
you
they
know, we
were
could-
patched in, as people said, were hot and cold
Yeah,
over the years.
but I mean, if we could put something up that was new with a HVAC system with the square footage that we needed and had a cost of $7,000 a month to amortize that thing, we would virtually be a push from a cash flow standpoint, and we'd have a new building. And these people would have something to be proud of. So it would seem to me, it's, you know, again, going back to the master plan, but it would seem to me, since, you know, again, we're talking about the storage facility, we're talking about civil defense building, and we're talking about the ag building, and if we could decide how much it's actually costing us to operate those buildings, have a facility that will cost us similarly or, you know, a little bit more, for the long term, it sure seems to me to be a good idea to take a look at this possibility.
And I think there's a possibility in, depending on the design of the
Ohio State,
building,
yeah.
well, of doing something a little bit with maybe a public-private match, if there is, and again, you know, yeah, you need roof and square footage, but a bit of a training center, conference room that is utilized by the industry a little bit
Yeah.
outside of these offices that, you know, not a catering rental facility, but usable space for the industry that they might put some skin in the game. If
But
it's
you had
named
men-
after them, if we can do that, that's that type of partnership. And I got to look back, but I think from 2 years ago, I started a document together on a little bit on square footage
Yeah,
they would like, and there's a couple of other counties that have newer buildings, well, this Ottawa County has one, and so does Fulton County, I believe it's Fulton County, that I've been in, and I'm sure there's others as well that
but
do.
had you mentioned something in the past too, Holly, about the Ohio State Extension, there may be, I mean, if we ask them, there may be some money available from Ohio State to us.
They'd probably help us in directing of finding some grant monies
Yeah,
and some things
that's
like
what,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
it was gonna house them, so. Boy,
I just think there's a possibility of.
There's a lot of possibilities out there.
Yeah. we
And
certainly have the land
and it
available.
could, yes, we have the land, and another thing is our storage issues or lack, whatever.
And our concern, big concern was getting a lock-in with USDA, and then there might be some USDA funding things available. And that's not free money, but some low-interest money.
Yeah.
As we've used before for sewers and other things, but they have a multi-year contract with us now. They have their concerns that they have forewarned us on, server room, other things, of access within federal contracts for building space, which are almost ridiculous, but that's another story. But we need to be fostering that relationship if we're going this direction, so we can keep them
Yeah.
as a tenant. We don't, go to this expense, et cetera, to build a more elaborate public-private partnership with.
Well, you're right, if they got some skin in the game, then they're gonna stay here.
Yes, we wanna keep them as a tenant, and that's not only because, dollars to the building, it's a matter of service to our residents.
Charlene, are we scheduled again to have any more conversations about the second? We have a meeting scheduled at this time?
You are scheduled today to talk about the CT consultants contract. Stacy and I think, have a meeting on Friday as well. And then from whatever you guys decide from that, we will move forward to set up your next
Yeah, I mean, we
meeting.
got that group set, it seemed to me that that would be the ideal group to talk about this, 10,000 feet.
Yeah, I had just set up a meeting with Gossman Friday to talk to him about, since he knows the downtown buildings, CT hasn't been involved with a lot of the downtown stuff, so
So,
I just wanted to get a view of another.
yeah, and I'd like them to look at,
That's Craig.
I'd like them to
Craig,
look at
yeah.
all the land that's available out there. To come up with, like we said before, we wanna plop something in the middle, we want a bigger plan for that campus. I think that we should get the people, all the people that are affected, soil and water and, extension and, whoever
big
else
group
is in that
again.
building. They're already
Yeah, I
part of
think-
that committee, right?
Yeah, we have the big group that we initially met with, just to look at the South Campus. We already have that contact set up.
Yeah,
So we can facilitate putting that group back together, so that we can ask for, what are your needs? Where do you see this going? Where would you
Yeah.
like to be? All that good stuff. But that's also part of your building master plan contract
Sure.
that you do as well. So, I mean, we can facilitate that, or do we wanna hold off to the beginning of the year and then have whoever you contract with to do the building master plan take care of that?
Good questions.
yes, John.
And you could possibly roll the architectural work into museum and other,
Yeah, I mean, it's a cart and horse deal here. I guess that I'd like to get together with them as soon as we can. With the interested group, we're not gonna have any architectural thoughts, for a while. I would assume we would bring them in today. As far as what's a good use of the space.
Well, what CT Consultants doing is they're gonna go evaluate all of our buildings, and and I wanted to meet with Gossman to see the cost, because this was $38,000 to have
CT,
CT come and do it, and that's the only quote we've gotten and only
okay.
person we've talked to, so I just reached out to Gossman and just wanted to hear what they had to say, and
So are they gonna come back with a quote for us?
yeah, I'm meeting with them on Friday.
All right, let's just wait till we get that and then, make a decision to go forward.
John, talk to us a little bit about the roof at JFS.
okay, the new section of the building is metal roof.
Okay.
The old section would be where the admin offices are for Bob's old office and Ginger's office
Yeah.
in that little section. And then it tees off and goes through the Park District and into the engineer's office. That's all shingles and we've had multiple leaks and patches and repairs and so forth. A couple-year-old estimate, which I think is still somewhat good, 125 to 150,000 for shingles, around 300,000 for metal. That metal would then match the newer section of the building, that being veterans, job and family one stop, and then the job and family section there. And then that whole building would be metal roofing. Still have an old building in the Park District Engineer's Office, the Chow Hall, the cafeteria area. Still have an older building, needs windows and such, needs upgrades. Are they leaking now? No, but if you look at them, you'd say replace them. So still have that old building there, but we're really concerned about the roof because we've had, in Mark Zimmerman's office and in that area, we've had multiple leaks over the last just couple of years that we fixed. So
Only when it rains, though.
huh?
Only when it rains.
Only when it rains. Yeah.
Or snows.
Or
Not-
snow melts.
Not an issue.
Snow
So
melt.
those are the main upgrades there. You know, if we got into it a little bit more, heating, those areas are electric heat. The engineer's office is truly electric heat, whereas the break room and that section of job and family is heat pumps. So they're working fine. They're just, you know, they're older.
On the radar screen.
Yeah, so, but the big thing is the roof. We need to make a decision on the roof because it's already, I would say it's almost already here that it needs to be replaced. Just a matter of what we're gonna do to replace it. Shingles or metal sheets, and even now, you know, the metal shingles are about the same price, but of course they look like a shingle. And that's similar to what we have on the Justice Center, metal shingles. So.
Is that LED lighting stuff the whole building, or has any of that ever been converted?
That would be, probably be the whole building. The job and family new section has adequate lighting. We're replacing some of the old, they have some hang down lights that are known to smoke a little. And we're replacing all those right now. And we are putting LEDs in those, but they're in the hallway where you have your cubicles. They're in the hallway because they're too bright to be right over a person. You'd have to have an LED similar to what we have in the prosecutor or in the Justice Center, that type of LED. So it's not too bright for the people. So,
Okay, well, we beat storage building to death. Taxiway, we talked about that yesterday, so I don't think we need to take any action one way or the other. Is this kind of a wish from the dog warden?
Well, she has actually got,
Funds
she's had the
available.
funds available to do
Right.
this. We've just not moved forward with it, you know, because there again, she doesn't know the process of getting bids and all that stuff. But she has been saving up money for this. It would be just an additional garage that way she would be able to pull their trucks into. Because right now, you know, that little area,
She talked
if
about.
she gets a dog out
yeah,
and gets loose, it's
She talked about
gone.
Sally Port, right?
it's like a Sally Port, yeah, so
Just
it'd
like
be a
yours.
place that would double as, I'm sorry, Roverport. Yeah. It would double as a garage, obviously, for vehicles. It would have drop-off area for any county official bringing a dog in, whether it be Fostoria or Seneca County or city. Bringing a dog, they have to have a place to stage them. Right now, I think she just has 2 kennels for that. But that would be a staging area as well.
So she's got the money, the big thing would be for us to assist getting some bids and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
When I went out and looked at it, John, it looked like there was a swale that comes around her building, and that would be the logical place for that's Roverport. But is there any way we can redirect that drainage?
Yes, yeah, that's dirt work. I mean, that can be done, okay. Couple years ago, when I looked at it, more intent, come in the same way as they drive behind now
Yeah.
and stick the addition on there, but don't make it a drive-through. Just make it so they have to back out, and then you don't have to deal with the swale.
I'm not sure the directions out there, 'cause things curve around, but the south, or the west part of the building?
Is
The
there,
back of the building?
is their driveway,
Yeah, because she's got the dog runs out on the south side, right?
both sides.
Yeah,
But, no, east and west side are the dog runs. So they drive around the west side of the building, and that's how they get to the back door.
Okay.
The swale's on the east side of the building. And when I looked at it, I thought, well, you could, you know, have your garage here, not have a drive-through, because then you're dealing with the swale. Have a big enough parking area to back out, and so forth. So.
Yeah, that was my only thought, was if we could deal with that swale and that drainage, we could make it a drive-through. And
It could
make
be moved over, it could
Yeah.
be taken, sections off of the field there, which we'd have to do anyhow.
Yeah,
It's all our property,
yeah.
Stays away.
and that's
Okay.
just a dirt work
Yeah,
bulldozer job.
yeah, okay.
Okay, beat that dog to death.
All right,
Hey,
so
hey,
that's
hey,
a-
hey, hey.
Oh, easy
Pretty
the dog.
easy to go on the dog pound.
I wanna go backwards.
This
brief-
is live.
Wow.
Just real quickly, we talked about, you know, some modifications to the sheriff's office or whatever that makes a big difference for employees. That engineering flooring under the JFS engineering vets building, is that a minor thing that could get done? Is that some tile? Is that carpet?
Carpet, yep,
And that's just in Mark's area?
yeah.
I mean, that's just a thought of something, because it does make a big difference. I think you're absolutely right on that. If that,
You-
unless it,
could put
unless it
tile.
doesn't make sense because there's something leaking on it. But, you know, I mean,
Right.
I just wondered if there's a cost estimate to that. Is that something we can get taken care of and get, you know, this year because it's minor, or is it,
We could, yeah, we could.
Yeah,
get
we
estimate.
certainly could, we,
yeah,
yeah,
okay, just
just,
didn't want that one to go by. I had that marked in.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
So the data center is in the annex?
yes. I did want to bring that up. Jake did stop by yesterday. He said that the company, all of his costs are state term pricing, so he brought in the state term pricing contracts for me so I could see they were all on state term pricing. And he said that if he gets it ordered by Friday, which salesmen are always trying to do,
Black Friday shopping.
Black
here
Friday
for
shopping.
company.
Cyber Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
yeah,
whatever.
the original quote, you know, was close to 150, and with the rebates and getting it under state term, the HP said they could do it for about 129,000, but they want us to order by Friday, and that's getting the server room set up, ready to go, and replaced.
Soup to
Basically,
nuts, everything that we need.
all the servers would be,
Connectors, coolers, chillers.
yep.
Back
Other
there.
than, you know, Julie's got the one outstanding.
So that doesn't
server.
include hers?
No, because of her concerns with the
Security?
security and the speed. He said we could, they've got 3 different racks in there,
Yeah.
and Jake's vision with her concerns with security, she would have hers in
Right.
this, another locked cage that's in that area.
Build another wall?
No more walls. Nope, no more walls.
I'm sorry.
The, I mean,
But-
does it, on state term pricing, does it make sense to add hers into this?
Oh, yeah, we could.
Or did he already have the hardware, or not? She's already got it? No, we gotta get this.
Yeah,
We
did.
haven't bought it,
did
we
buy it.
approved it, but we
We're
haven't.
waiting for it to, its location.
The
to
room
be-
is ready though?
Yeah, it's ready for this next step, but we just didn't know whether we were gonna, because I asked him, I said, just give me what it's gonna cost, because whether we baby it and just do this little server at a time, this little server at a time, I just wanted to see, I didn't know. Worst
But-
case scenario, if we had to do it all today and all of the departments needed service through there, what would it cost? So that's what
And
he
fiber in
got.
March?
Yep, that's the
connection.
deadline. We're hoping it'll be sooner than that, but I'm not gonna jinx us, so
And
March,
delivery of these would be 30 days or something?
that I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I think you would need to ask about adding Julie's in, what the cost is. I think we're.
Her server, the cost we got, I don't know if this is the state term price for her server, was $16,178.79.
Back up to 150.
Yeah, so I'd have to ask,
Yeah.
if he added this to it, what would it be? I don't know if it would change it. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, what we set out to do, we shouldn't pull up short now.
No.
Yeah, if we get a better discount, we might as well take advantage of it. Probably be us, probably get the same thing next week.
Right, and they were talking about some tariffs changing, I don't know, something with
Oh, yeah, the computer terror. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. They can pull the wool over my eyes. I don't know.
All right, so the weights and measures truck, we did talk about that, and John, you thought maybe we get something used or something.
35,000, does that cover it, you think?
I think it would. Yeah, I haven't really looked yet, but yeah.
Any equipment we got, the boating equipment, we got money put aside, we think it's gonna be, probably have to probably use 200 of it, and we've got how much put aside, 600?
We've got 500 put aside. They're getting
Yeah, I
640 and,
And the cost is gonna be 820, so
Yep.
the net difference we'll be able to use for other capital improvements, once we know what the net is, right?
yeah.
Okay.
The only other thing I had added was just upgrade of signs for all the county offices. Like the RTA building, obviously, it needs done just for the fact that the regional planning is no longer in there anymore. So if we're gonna start incorporating our logos on these signs, just to think about that as a capital projects. Do we wanna do them as one big project, just do them as they come along?
That could go in with redoing the building next year. If need be, we should take those signs off at that time.
Yeah,
And put new up or whatever.
on the RTA?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know what we're gonna do with that building.
So, yeah.
Not really.
It's exhausting.
So
I know,
if I take out the Board of Elections, the data center, and the JFS roof as big projects, the other things that I came up with was, 632,000.
$132,000, what's that number?
632,000.
632,000, okay. And again, I go back to ask the question, which of those have we accrued for, and which of those have actually been new money?
That would all be new money.
Right. We've got 200, what is it,
Okay, accept that.
250,000 in that fund right now. And then we accrue about $100,000 every year into that fund. So
We will also have excess from the voting machines that could theoretically be transferred to other capital improvements. Okay, so
yeah,
if it costs us 200 out of the 500 we have, 300 can be used for this stuff, so that takes the net effect to 330, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know the total on it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll need some time to mess around with that, but
Right.
just to give you an idea. That's not taking on any of the big audacious projects, but that's a good capital budget.
and I can throw the numbers in our budget format and bring it to you next week. Just
Yeah.
That's good.
look at it and,
We're doing something that's not been done before, so it's kind of like watching a sausage be made.
So, I mean, the results are, at some point, we're gonna get the sheriff in here to talk about his wish list
Yep.
or his capital improvement
yep,
requirements. We're gonna try to get we're gonna get a bid from Gossman regarding the south side,
Yep.
right?
For- Gossman for everything.
Right, and then, right, for everything. And then once we decide who we're going with, CT or Gossman, we'll schedule a meeting with the stakeholders, so we know where to go on the south campus. And then you'll put together a capital improvement budget based on our discussions for next week. Okay. All right, we'll take a 5-minute break before we start the meeting. Those of us who need to get coffee.